Howdy, Chris here. We're back in the garage. We are going to start a new weekly series on different tools and products I use in the body shop, products that I've tested. So I'm going to give you my opinion on what's a good product to use, what I use, and some of the things you want to look for when you're checking out different products. Today we're painting this water heater cover for an RV. We're going to scuff this down with 600 grit sandpaper, seal it, then we're going to spray it with a base coat clear coat finish. So I'll walk you through that process. Product that we're using today for our primer sealer. This is a product here that I've recently started using the last couple of years. This is Upol UP2253V. The reason I like this product is because it's very versatile. This product works well as a high build primer, which is a thick primer that can be used over body filler. So you can block sand that body filler out and get it super straight. It can also be used as a primer surfacer, which is just like a thinner primer, and you're going to be able to block it out a little bit easier. Surfacer is used if you have your body work straight. You just want to fill some fine scratches, block sand it, make sure there's no waves or imperfections. A primer surfacer is what you want to use. So this can be applied direct to metal. The other nice thing about this is it can be used as a sealer. We're going to use it as a sealer as we paint this RV cover. For the sealer, it's going to mix up 4 parts primer, 1 part of the activator, and then 2 parts urethane reducer. Another product that I would definitely recommend is a PPS disposable cup system. This system, I get 40 liners, 40 lids. You get this. It also comes with this measuring cup housing. This is just a great way to save you time. They're very inexpensive, and it just makes for really easy cleanup. So we're going to find the 4:1 mixing ratio right here. They don't have a 4:1:2 mixing ratio, so we're going to have to double up the last ratio. So how you use these cups is in the 4 column, you're going to put the amount of primer that you want. In the 1 column, you will add your activator. You coordinate the numbers. So we'll do 2 parts of the primer, then we'll go over to the 1 column, we'll add our activator up to the 2, then we'll go over to this 1 column, we'll add our reducer to the 2, and then we'll put another part of reducer in it. So we're going to double up that last column. I've already pre-mixed this primer. You got to make sure this primer is mixed up thoroughly. There we got our 2 parts. We're going to use the standard activator. This is 2223, and they sell this on Amazon. I will leave links in the description to these products. This comes in a kit. It's very reasonably priced, and it works great. I think it's right around $100, I believe. I'm going to the 1 column, and I'm just going to add my activator up to that 2. There we go. This is a slow reducer, but we're going to use this to mix up the primer. I'm going to fill it up to the 2. And that's 1 part. Now I'm going to double that up. So there's another part of reducer. So now we've got our 4:1:2 parts. We've got our lid here, and this just locks on. Okay, that's locked on. This is another tool that I would highly recommend if you're a DIYer or even a professional, which is really convenient. This paint gun works fantastic. It is a low volume, low pressure paint gun. It's called the Drizzle D1. I will leave a link in the description, but this is the PPS adapter, and this PPS adapter comes with this gun. We'll talk a little bit more about this gun when we start spraying. We're going to go ahead and sand this down now. I really like these sanding sponges as well. This is a 600 grit sanding sponge, or this is an 800 grit, I'm sorry, this is an 800 grit sanding sponge. This is great for scuffing up parts like this. You just need to sand it quick and knock off the shine. This is flexible, it's easy to sand with, and it works perfectly. So on this cover, all we need to do is scuff up the surface and knock off the shine. So you see how that's nice and shiny? We're going to knock off the shine, make sure we have good adhesion for our sealer, and then we'll apply 1 good coat of sealer on it. We'll let it flash off for 15 minutes, and we'll be ready to spray our base. Okay, we now have these panels all sanded down. With 800 grit sandpaper, we've knocked all the shine off them, so they've got a dull finish. This is going to promote adhesion. So I've got some isopropyl alcohol in here. I prefer isopropyl alcohol. It helps eliminate static. You could also use prep solvent if you want to. So we're going to soak this down with some iso. I take a clean microfiber towel, and we're just going to wipe this dry. The other thing that's nice about isopropyl alcohol is it evaporates quickly. If you use like a water-based cleaner, it's going to take a while for that to dry. Now before we spray our sealer, we'll go over this with a tack cloth. A tack cloth is just a sticky cloth that's going to pick up any dust particles that we might have missed. Okay, the Inokraft Drizzle D1, low volume, low pressure paint gun. It's going to save you materials, going to use less air or consume less air from your air compressor. So if you have a small air compressor, this is a great gun. And it really produces a beautiful looking finish. I'll show you here. These are the gun settings. The fan is wide open. This is the fan here. This is the fluid volume here. I've got that 2 turns out from closed. So I closed it all the way and opened it up 2 turns. Now for sealer and base coat, we use less air pressure. I've got this set at about 20 PSI. We don't have to put the sealer on real heavy, but look how nice this gun applies the sealer. All right, we'll let that set up for about 10-15 minutes and we'll apply our base. This paint mixes up 2 to 1. We're gonna pour in the amount of paint that we want. We're gonna do 3 parts here. Lock on our lid. Now I just ran some thinner through here, clean that out from our sealer. We're going to keep the same gun settings, about 20 PSI as far as the air pressure. 2 turns out from closed on the fluid volume, and the fan's wide open. Now you want to overlap your passes about 75%. So you get consistent finish in your metallics. We're just going to put 1 coat on and then we're going to let this flash off. First coat on here, but before we go ahead and put our second coat of base on, what I want to do is take some 600 grit sandpaper, and I see a few little dust particles here. All I want to do is knock those down a little bit before we put our second coat on. And this is the trick that's going to give you a really clean paint job. Now some of this dust might have occurred when we applied our sealer, but anytime you're not painting in a garage, you're going to get some particles of dust. This is just one more trick or step that's going to help you get a cleaner paint job. We'll be putting several more coats of paint on this, so these light scratches from the 600 grit sandpaper are not going to affect anything. All right, let's tack this off and we'll apply our second coat. A lot of times when you put on your first couple coats, it's going to look modelly. Now this doesn't look too bad. Nice and uniform. But I'm going to do a little bit of a drop coat here. I think we got pretty much everything covered. Okay, so we've applied our second coat and everything looks nice and uniform. Still see a little bit of the fine 600 grit scratches. So we're going to put 1 more coat on this. Then we'll do a drop coat. And basically a drop coat is we're just going to move away from the panel a little bit, a few extra inches, and dust a coat on in different directions, and that's going to give us a nice uniform metallic finish. That's just a little bit of insurance to make sure all your metallics are nice or uniform. Avoids tiger striping, modeling, anything that's going to distort those metallics. Drop coat's going to help you with that. Clear coat we're using is FC710. This is a spot panel clear. Dries a little bit quicker. It's quicker to be buffed, so you can. So I like to wait overnight and then I buff it the next day, and I don't ever have any problems. Has a nice gloss. It is considered a high solids clear. Mixes up 4 to 1. We're gonna change our gun settings. So the gun settings, we're gonna open up our fluid volume, which is right here. This is the fluid volume. 3 turns out from closed. I closed it all the way, opened it up 3 turns. Fan pattern's wide open. Air pressure, we're gonna run at about 28 PSI. Clear coat's a little bit thicker product, requires a little bit more air pressure to atomize that clear so you get a fine mist, and that's what's gonna give you a nice glass-like finish. And I've got other videos on clear coating, more in-depth videos you can check out. I also offer a digital guide to clear coating that gives you step-by-step instructions on how to lay down beautiful looking clear coat, how to atomize your clear properly and get a beautiful looking finish. Again, 75% overlap on clear coat. That's one coat. We're gonna let it flash off, and then we'll hit it with another coat. Okay, last coat of clear. Well, let's take a look at this. It does have some dust in it. If you look from this angle, you can see some trash. So we'll have to do a light cut and buff on this, but the finish looks nice. Some of that will get buried in the second coat of clear. So if you look here, you can see this is tacky. So that's what you want. You don't want it to be stringy, tacky. Okay, there's the finish. See, some of that dust got buried. There are a few larger chunks there that we're going to need to address. But overall, finish with this Inokraft Drizzle D1 looks great. You guys really can't go wrong with this Inokraft Drizzle D1, so if you're looking to pick yourself up a gun that's very reasonably priced, these are under $100. $109 and under. You can get them on sale sometimes on Amazon. I will leave a link in the description. Very good quality gun. I've owned this gun right here for 2 years. I have had no issues with it. Very easy and simple to set up. Follow the parameters and the settings that I gave you. You'll get a nice looking finish like this. And if you enjoy this content and you want to learn more about paint and body repair, be sure to check out my channel and subscribe. To learn more about how to atomize your clear and get that perfect atomization, check out this video now. We'll see you on the next episode of Garage Noise.